Oxygen for the body, love for the emotional self, and learning for the intellectual self. Hi, this is Nirmala Shekhar, a coach and a body talk practitioner from Singapore, and I'm continuing the discussion on a map of self-care. Self-care is not just about taking care of the body. It's also not just about taking care of our emotional needs. Over the last few weeks, we have been having a series of discussions on our emotional needs. From today, we shift the focus to our intellectual needs. And what do you think is our most important intellectual need? Stay tuned. So if you guessed that learning was our most important intellectual need, you would be right. Learning keeps us young, keeps our brain young. A few decades ago, science believed that a brain stopped growing after a while. But now, the latest science reveals that the brain is plastic. That means it keeps building new structures right through till the last day. And when we learn new things, new neural pathways or neuronal structures are built in the brain. And that keeps the brain young. It also keeps us very excited. I'm excited when I learn new stuff. To me, learning is very, very important. And just as we looked at our emotional needs and talked about the 5 stages in the needs cycle, the same thing applies to learning as well. So let's look at how the needs cycle is useful in understanding learning. In the needs cycle, we talked about the 5 stages: the safety stage, the comfort stage, the growth stage, release stage, and then the renewal stage. And let's take an example of learning a new language. So if I am learning a new language, a language that I have never learned before or even heard before, if I don't know much about, I'm going to be starting this learning process by being very excited. But this new learning can also be very daunting. So I am in the safety stage as far as this learning is concerned. So what are my needs in this stage? In this stage, I want my learning to be in small nuggets. That makes it easy for me. And I also want it to come to me in a way that I can relate to something that I already know. So if I'm learning a new language, maybe French, I can relate it back to something I already know, which is English. And so this process of relating to something that we already know, teachers know this very well, they do this very well. It's called scaffolding, tying new information back to something that students already know. This is important in the safety stage so that I don't feel overwhelmed. When I am comfortable in this stage, I move to the comfort stage. In this stage, things have a very good structure, they are organized well, and they are a little bit more than the safety stage. So in this stage, maybe I'm picking up not just words, but maybe simple sentences that I can use in my day-to-day life. So that is my comfort stage. Once I am good in that stage, I shift quickly to the growth stage. And in this stage, new ideas, new concepts in this area of learning are thrown at me, and I am enjoying it in a way. I could be overwhelmed by it, but I'm also enjoying it. So in this stage, I could be learning to speak entire sentences, paragraphs, to write in it, to watch a movie in it without subtitles, and exploring more advanced forms of French in a way that excites me as well. So that would be a growth stage. Once I am happy with my growth stage, if I have to progress further, then I need to move through the release stage. What is the release stage in learning? There are two things we release. We release a reluctance to learn. Firstly, reluctance to learn means it could be any of these things or all of these things. It could be I'm afraid I can't learn further. I don't want to learn further because I don't see the need to learn further. Or it could be that I feel I know everything or I know enough. I don't need to learn further. So all of these may be fueling my reluctance to learn, and so I'm not able to go further. If I have to go further, I need to release this reluctance. The other thing I need to release is outdated concepts that are preventing me from learning further. So if I'm learning French, one of the things that I probably need to learn to go further is to stop thinking in English and then translating into French. And most of us, when we are learning languages, we do this. We think in a language that we are comfortable with and then try to translate that. Unless we overcome that, unless we release that, we can't move further, deeper into the language. So once I'm able to go through the release stage, then renewal becomes easy. In this stage, I'm being curious. Okay, I know this. What if I were to try this? How would it be? What if I were to do this? How would it relate? So I'm exploring creatively my existing learning with other ways of learning and other information so that I am personalizing my learning in the stage of renewal. And I am making that learning more relevant to my needs. So that would be the renewal stage. I want to share with you another example of why the release stage, just as in the emotional needs, the release stage is so important. Many years ago, when I was learning geography and the solar system, and I think all of us have gone through that stage, we were shown a picture of our solar system, the sun in the center, and then the 9 planets around it, elliptical orbits. And this was a 2-dimension one. And we were lucky if we went to a planetarium and saw the whole thing in 3 dimension as well. But they were very static images or static sculptures that represented the sun and the planets. Few years ago, I watched a video and I was blown away. And I was able to take that only when I was comfortable releasing my old concept of the static solar system. And what was this new concept? So from the sun being a point in the center and the star and the planets going around it, this new concept told us that the sun is not just a static star in the universe. The sun itself is moving along in the universe. And so as the sun moves, it is taking the planets orbiting around it with it. And when I tried to visualize that, my mind was blown. And this is how we use this release stage to learn something new, something that leads to exciting information as well. And for us to then start using this in a creative way. I'll leave you with this point of reflection. How important is learning to you? And could you use learning to shift through any area of your life that you are currently feeling stuck? Think about it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye. Namaste. Do subscribe and hit the bell button for more weekly content on self-care. And if you want even more actionable content on self-care, do join me in the Facebook group for weekly lives, discussions, and more tips.